Now, for deeper analysis of US-China relations and China's currency policy in the wake of these latest developments, I'm joined by Fred Teng. He's president of the AmericaChina Public Affairs Institute. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. Hi, Rachelle.
Now, we did see the yuan strengthen against the dollar after President Trump agreed with what many economists already concluded, that China is not a currency manipulator. So overall, how has the RMB been faring so far this year?
Well, RMB in the last couple of years been weakening, and there are a lot of reasons for that. One is China's economy is softening, and the other is certainly the US dollar's been strengthening, especially with the interest rate rise.
Now, for people who are really trying to understand the significance, why does accusing another country of being a currency manipulator matter?
Well, in the United States, we have legislations, and once we identify a country as a currency manipulator, there are sanctions, economic sanctions, such as tariff, can be imposed onto the imports.
Certainly.
Yes,
I'm sorry, please go on.
Yeah, and that will certainly affect initially the U.S. consumers and eventually the retailers, as well as China's manufacturing as well.
Now, we know also that the yuan joined the International Monetary Fund's basket of reserve currencies in October of last year. How do you see the role of the yuan as an international reserve currency progressing?
Well, this is a starting of a recognition and a milestone for the renminbi. And what it says is that really the recognition of China's policy and in its economy, because they start to open up more and more reforms going on. But it's really a beginning, because the renminbi being part of the SDR certainly can be, allowed it to be using as loan. But the use is still limited right now. But certainly it's a very prestigious thing to have done.
So what sort of reforms can we expect in the future regarding the currency?
You mean the renminbi currency?
Yes.
Okay. I still think that, it will remain steady for a while, but in the next year or so, it depends on the US dollar and the interest rate rise. If the US is going to hike the interest rate, it will make the US dollar stronger, and relatively that will make the renminbi weaker. The other is certainly the China's own economy, and there are a lot of world events that might affect the economy as a whole.
Now, you mentioned this idea of the U.S. Central Bank, and we know that they've indicated that they will raise rates additionally, and that could be on the table this year. How do you see that affecting the yuan in the short and perhaps even the longer term?
I think earlier you have a speaker who was talking about, China, while it's still an export-dependent country, they try not to use the a manipulated currency conversion rate to do so. And so I think that, the U.S., if they raise the interest rate, certainly will affect the renminbi.
And you also mentioned some of the issues going on in the global economy. So what are some of the other headwinds that you think could perhaps put some pressure on the yuan?
Well, first, China's own economy. Second is the U.S. dollar and the U.S. economy. If the U.S. economy is weak, they would not be importing as much, and certainly will affect China's exports. And also the political environment as well. Certainly, if there is any conflict going on, it might affect the trading for many countries.
Well, people certainly keeping an eye on the geopolitical risks. We'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much. Fred Teng, president of the AmericaChina Public Affairs Institute.